So hello. First, thank you, Craig, for your hospitality and this fantastic exhibition. I'm sorry for my English, was really bad, worse than our Spanish friends. First, I began to work. I was 8 years old because, in fact, I'm a crazy collector. So I began to collect. First, I think it was keychain. After I continue with watches, and with art, and very early with contemporary art. And why contemporary art? Because I had no money at this time, and when you are a collector, you want the best you can. So the only thing I could buy at this time was very contemporary art. So I began with photos like Nan Goldin, Cindy Shaban in the early 80s. And I met my wife, and we began to go in Paris. You had a gallery. The name was Neo 2, and we just took a new apartment. And I began to see this kind of pieces, like you can see some here, like Garouste Bonetti or Zekeli or Sylvain Dubuisson. And we began to buy, and that was my first, let's say, meeting with design. So I continued to collect, and I was in a family business. We had a ski clothes company, Kili ski clothes company, was quite famous, and I continued my collections of art and design, and we sold it. I wanted to go in my passion, and by luck, because it was really luck, I went to buying art in a new area in Paris, where you had about 10 or 12 art galleries. One of my friends told me there is a small space here. Where do you want to take it and show what you like? And we opened with my wife this gallery in 1999 at this time. So Kreo, Galerie Kreo, why Galerie Kreo? We wanted to find a short name, and Kreo, so short name, they're all patented. And we try to find where we can, and we go to the Esperanto dictionaries. We saw in that case nobody will go there, and we find Kreo. Kreo is creation in Esperanto, so that was the beginning of our story. So to begin, we began we began to work to show our two first exhibitions were double of my collection, because at this time I was already collecting and art, and contemporary art, and furniture. But furniture from the 60s, 70s, 80s. A lot of Paulin, of mirrors. I began a collection of chairs and of lights that I continue today, by the way. So after two exhibitions, I began to see that to buy and sell pieces, that was really, I didn't feel well with that. And I wanted to produce pieces. So I was lucky because I was around with some of the people I was buying in Neo 2 was, in fact, the first was Martin Zekeli and Mark Newson, and I began in 99. We opened the gallery with my wife in June 99. We began to show our first exhibition, I think, was Zekeli, and we were very lucky. Why? Because, in fact, what I didn't know at all, it could be marketing, but it's not. It's all the people, the collectors who buy design from a long time, they buy in France. Same if it's Italian design from the 18th century. If you take the 18th century galleries, 30s, 50s, there are a lot of French. So when I opened, I was very lucky to have a lot of collectors who came, and to be surrounded by art galleries. That was also a very lucky thing, because in fact, at this time, beginning of 2000, all these art collectors, they were not looking at all in furniture. And they began to look at it when I opened. So I was lucky to begin with 4 of the top collectors in the world of contemporary art. And in this 4 top, you had design begin to be very fashionable. So you had very well-known fashion designers who began to buy these kind of things, and I was lucky to begin with a bunch of collectors who helped the gallery to to pay the production of all these designers. So I will begin with one of a piece we were showing with the Burolek. After a few exhibited of historical pieces, we made the decision to get into production. In fact, we came to the realization quite quickly that we would prefer to produce new pieces. And when I saw this kind of piece, for instance, that's very interesting. Because, of course, I never thought, when I see a piece, what I like is not to understand. When a designer shows me something, I like to be surprised. And when I saw these pieces from the Burolek, I was for sure surprised. But it's like, you know, the Burolek, their work is a lot to re-architecture interiors. And in this piece, what you see, it's the following of a Perriand piece or a middle piece of Perriand. And that's, you can dream and you can see, they want to show that when you see this table down, it's not a problem to put a piece, to put a hat, for instance, and not the size you used to. And all this piece, what I like to really, it's different from everything was done before. And that's what was the way we like to look in the gallery. So, and if you take the small pieces you see here, so the black seaweed, that's very interesting because this exhibition was shown in the gallery, and this seaweed, after that, they had an industrial finishing with Vitra, because now, after that, Vitra took just the sea wing, and now they sell millions of them. So we were very proud for a research, a paperwork piece, to succeed sometimes afterwards to an industrial result. So that's a piece of Martin Zekeli, and Martin Zekeli, you don't know him very well in the design, but in industrial, I will tell you one piece which is very well known. He made the glass Perrier. The glass Perrier, there is 25 million of it. And his work is, in fact, what he's saying is saying, I'm not drawing anymore. And if you take this shelf, the material, he works a lot with a new material was very strong and very thin. So the shelf, he wanted the shelf to disappear completely. So, and in each side, you can put 100 kilos. So it's a fantastic piece. That's Jasper Morrison. We make an exhibition with him about 4 years ago. And when I showed this piece for the first time, I was quite surprised because I say, what? The shelf is closed, and inside you have plain resin vases, and that came from photos he took from archaeological museum, and he redefined it in 3 dimensions. And in fact, you cannot use the resin are plain, so you cannot use the pieces like vases or you cannot use the shelf too. And I say, but what you can think, is it design? And of course it's design, because when you saw his work of super normal, you see also that's his paperwork on this piece. So that means the research can be also theoretical, and that's not just pieces to use, and that's design also, of course. That's a piece of Mark Newson. We begin with Mark about, I think, at the beginning of the gallery. And all the pieces we were showing, that's pieces from the beginning of the 90s. Because the dream of Mark Newson, he loved cars, he loved surfing, and he had a dream, and this dream was to make pieces with makers of Aston Martin makers. So each pieces we continue to show our pieces. They have the drawings are from the beginning of the 90s, because each time we make a piece, it's about 3 years to make the edition of 12, so it's long to do it. So that's one of the pieces was done with him. That's Constantin Krychek. That's quite interesting. It was a show. It was a group show we have done, and in fact, I was working with a theorician of minimal art, and who who asked a question to the designers. The missing object. That was the answer of Constantin at this time, with quite a fantastic piece. That's what you see here. It's all the show, because in fact, the gallery is like, I think it's quite an important editor, because we are doing more between 40 and 60 pieces different a year. We have done now more than 60 or 55 shows, I think. Our next one, by the way, will be Ella Jungerius. It's 4 years we work with her about this show, and because the pieces are so difficult to produce, and in fact, that's, yeah, we are quite happy with what we have done with all these designers. There is a piece here that you can see in the show here. Martin van Severen, he just made one show in his life, who was, I think, I will come back later. Yeah, Martin van Severen, he made one show in his life in the galleries, because for him, the lengths of the pieces were so important. And of course, when he wanted to make a shelf with 3.53 meters, it's impossible, of course, to sell it in Luminaire or in other place, because it's too long, and you cannot go by an escalator to take it. So in fact, he did it in the gallery with a table, like the table you saw in the exhibition, but the one was in bakelite, in plain bakelite. And to find plain bakelite, it was 2 years of work, because in fact, bakelite was used for plugs in East Germany, and at this time, and it was so difficult to find, and we find after 2 years, and he could make his piece. That was a piece from another piece from Constantin Krichik. It's like it's also a dream for him, because it's a new way of, for him, it's the best way when you are for a long chair to be seated. And it is in carbon, and to make this space in one piece, we had to work with the people who are working with carbon with Formula One in Switzerland. So that was really a huge work. About our manufacture, I will continue after on the pieces. We have a specific network of manufacturers. Our aim is to produce the best possible pieces, as you can hear, and each time it can take the designers we work. There are about 10, and in fact, I never say them where you are going to be your exhibition is going to be in the next year or next 2 years. If you take Jersey, I think his last exhibition was 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and we don't know. We'll do it when it's going to be ready. So we wait. And what we want, the only thing we want, is to make each exhibition make the design an advance on design. So and these designers we work with, it's like a family. The name, it's François Bauchet, Renaud Erwan Bourlec, Pierre Charpin, Naoto Fukuzawa, James Irvine, Ella Jungerius, Jasper Morrison, Mark Newson, Jerzy Seymour, Martin Zekeli. And after this family, we always keep an eye on the younger generation. And of course, with this generation, we have people like, and you will see images, Wiki Summers, Fernando Brizio, Julia Lohmann, François Zerbourg, and David Dubois, and the front designer. So I will continue on these pieces. That's Pierre Charpin. Pierre Charpin is a French designer who has an exhibition now in the Lausanne Museum, the MUDAC. And that's a mirror with 1 meter diameter. So it's, of course, also a kind of dream, because it can be edited in a long series. Just to tell you about the limited edition, because it's fun we speak about marketing, because I never, all came by luck, let's say, or by why we limit in 2000 when we began to show this kind of prototypes, because I was an art collector. I was saying it's impossible to make huge edition of these pieces. So I was thinking like when I was buying photos or sculpture, And sculpture, you had each time 8 pieces plus 2 plus 2. So I say, I'm going to do the same. And we arrive to make 12 pieces, so 8 plus 2 plus 2. That's another piece from Martin Zekeli. It's also a non-drawing piece, and what he wanted to use concrete. There is the biggest company of concrete in the world. His name is Lafarge. They invent a new product which is very thin. The name is ductile, and he wanted to his work is also not drawing. He tried the pieces to disappear. So this concrete is 8 millimeter on the top. So that's really a quite fantastic piece. That's a piece of James Irvine, who was blown in Italy, and that was a stool. So a stool in glass, that's quite unusual, of course. That's Ella Jungerius. The next show, as I told you, will be in 1 month in our gallery. So that one was of a light she did for the gallery. So that's the designers I told you we are working with. That's a piece we have done with Wiki Summers. In fact, it's a bass boat. And like a collector, I use it, and it's really fantastic, I can tell you. That's Fernando Brizio. That's a vase with as you can see, with some paint inside. That's a French designer. His name is Dubois, and that's a bench. But what is particular in this bench, you have water inside. So when you sit down, all the time you can listen to the water. That's a coach by Julia Lohmann. So that's a piece you can see in the MoMA now, by the way. That's a young designer, Rovero, and that's a light. That's another young designer. And that's just shirts and pants, and so he took pieces you usually put in your on the ground when you go to bed, and he make a tapestry with that. That's an exhibition we have done in 2003. That was an exhibition on mirrors, and we were so lucky because we had designers like Mark Tusson, Burulek, André Poutmag, who make I think that last very fantastic mirror piece, and we are lucky like because I think 20 designers answered the question on the mirror. That was a jazzy exhibition a long time ago because it was in 2003. I knew he was coming there. It's just to tell him to rush for the next exhibition. That's Pierre Charpin exhibition too in the gallery. It was in 2006. So you had table. You know, I think the design we are showing in the gallery, as I told you, I like not to understand, and what I like to is to dream, and to dream. And when I arrive to the gallery, or when I want the people to arrive and to see these pieces, each time they can think to something else. And here you can do that very, very easily because comparing to industrial design, of course here there is no constraint. There is no constraint of money, there is no constraint of size, there is no constraint at all. So there is just one constraint, and that's very important. It has to be or useful design, or theoretical design. When I speak about theoretical design, he has to speak about design. So for me, for instance, if we speak of, when 2 years ago, I began to listen to this kind of words like design art, or I couldn't, till now, I don't know what it is. And to tell you also what's important, so we need to dream. We need the designers, when they arrive, they know that they will try to speak about design for sure. And also what's important, it's they need to speak about the future. For instance, after Ella, because Ella, it was a 4 years exhibition, 4 years work to make the exhibition, for sure, the next the design of the future, so the pieces we are going to see in 6 or 7 months, is going to be so different because of the crisis. Because of course, for sure, the designers, they will work another way. That's for sure. I'm not very long because I will love to answer more questions. So thank you so much.